I made a few mistakes when I worked with John Taffer.
Oh no.
That was pretty bad.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Portable Trevor here, and today we have a very special guest. We've been internet friends for a very long time. We actually just met like 2 months ago, I think, at a music video shoot. And he's just an amazing dude. He's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of knowledge about the internet. His name is Kyle Harris. What's up, Kyle?
How's it going, man?
Pretty good. What have you been into?
Just hanging out in Los Angeles. Just moved here 2 weeks ago now. So
Nice. Congrats. That's a big move.
yeah, it's a good move from Nashville. Brought three other friends with me. So we're all out here having a good time.
Dude, sick. What made you want to move to specifically Los Angeles?
Dude, I've been wanting to come out here for like 10, 15 years, ever since I was like a kid. I've always had a fascination with just the entertainment industry in general. So I spent like 7 years in Vegas and then a couple of months in Nashville recently. And then when Byte released, like, a year ago, I got on that. And then in February, I got signed with Collab. And they're out here in LA. So it was just a perfect opportunity to come out here and, give it a good shot. So here I am.
Nice, dude. That's amazing. So Kyle's one of those guys. It feels like we don't talk like all the time. Sometimes we do, but
Yeah.
It feels like whenever I do, I'm like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" And he's just like, "Oh, man, I'm moving."
Yeah.
And
Every time we talk.
yeah, you've lived in what? Las Vegas, Nashville.
So yeah, been all over. I mean, I was raised in Arkansas, so when I moved from Vegas, I went back to Arkansas for about 6 months and then to Nashville. So
Nice, dude. And why don't you tell the people like kind of what you do and what you're about?
It's kind of a tricky question. I guess a good starting point is social media. I've been in the social media space for like 8 years now. And ever since we've been friends, I've been managing social media accounts for like John Taffer from Bar Rescue. I was at Stratosphere Hotel. Worked on Fling. I don't know if anybody here remembers Fling or not, but
If you don't, it's okay.
yeah, it's fine. It's now defunct. It's not around anymore, but
For good reason.
yeah, very good reason. But yeah, I've been doing that for a while, just managing accounts. And then I got into YouTube probably 2016, kind of off and on doing vlogs and stuff. And lately it's just been Byte, and now I'm out here. Can't really do much, but the goal is to pursue acting. So
I gotcha.
I'm really all over the place.
So I feel like social media, like being a manager with that, I feel like a lot of people kind of scoff at it like, really? Do you need that? And I'm sure you've gotten that too before whenever you say that you are one. So
Sure.
what do you like how would you describe like what you do to actually manage a social media account?
Well, for different businesses, I mean, I think it's really important for people to be on social because that's the first place that people go to look your business up. They'll go to Google and they'll find the first hits, Facebook or Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got a good presence on there and you've got either good content or just stuff that provides value to people, you're more than likely to build a loyal following and get more sales or just get more eyeballs on your brand. So I think it's just really important. And I like to use my personal stuff, my personal social stuff to kind of show what it can do for somebody or for a business. So yeah, I mean, that's why I think it's important. But going more in depth is like, my job is to create the content. It's to build a strategy for people. There's a lot of community management, which is actively engaging with the fans that are online. And that's really important because if you don't get that engagement, you're just kind of like a robot posting. So
Mhm.
it
And I
doesn't really.
used to be really into that. Like I used to consider myself like a social media expert. And I thought I was for the longest time, but slowly I kind of just dwindled out and I was like, I'm more interested in creating and just being a filmmaker. So I think
Yeah,
that's the route that I'm going to go. But ever since I've known you, that's like what you've been through and through. And sure, like you do, photography and a little bit of filmmaking and like you kind of do everything. So what intrigues you so much about social media?
the attention, really.
At
Yeah, it's fun.
least you're honest.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like when I was on Vine, like I got a huge following, and uh, even when I started getting into Twitter, like back in, I think I really popped off on Twitter in about 2014, 2015, because that's when so I moved to Vegas for a girl I met on the internet, and then we got married and we live streamed it, and it got a ton of views, got a lot of press off of it, and that's what really skyrocketed my following. But I had been on Twitter for 8 years before that,
Mhm.
steady at like 5,000 followers, and then when the attention went up, I was just like, wow, like this is cool. So honestly, that's what it is. And just to connect with really cool people. Like I'm able to connect with you and so many other really cool people. Corey, my roommate, we met on an app, Weevo, and we're roommates now. So it's cool.
That's wild. And that that was a pretty cool time in my life because or at least whenever I met you because like my whole life I've been told like don't talk to strangers or anything. And some of the best friendships I've ever made are from like social media. I probably wouldn't be here in Atlanta if it wasn't for social media. Like
Sure.
I knew of like Nathan and some of my roommates, but just like hitting them up. I think I hit up Nathan on Facebook. I was like, "Hey man, can I be on a shoot for you?" And he was like, "Sure." So if it wasn't for like Facebook or anything like that, I wouldn't be here.
Right. I mean, it's just a great place to connect with people. Twitter is where I
Mhm.
like to hang out, I guess. It's just such an easy platform to connect with people. And I mean, half of my friends on the internet because we all interact, together. So it's a cool thing.
That is really cool. What would you say is like the biggest mistake like people and brands or whatever make whenever it comes to like posting on social?
People, it's venting.
I
I'm pretty
can
good.
agree with that.
Yeah. Um, Brands, I think for brands, it's being very untimely with messaging. A big thing that I stopped doing was scheduling out big
Mhm.
posts in advance for brands because you never know when something like coronavirus is going to happen, or I mean, not to get too dark, but a mass shooting, and then you have
Mhm.
something that just is really off with the messaging and then it goes out. So I mean, that's a really big thing to look out for brands.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's hurt a lot of brands that schedule something like maybe they do I don't think even think you can like a sketch or something funny with a gun and then a mass shooting happens that
Yeah,
day
I
and
mean,
then it's posted.
yeah, and social media, like it's so quick that you really have to be on top of everything you're doing and
Mhm.
just be aware. So I think like social media managers really, really have to stay on top of everything. And it really sucks when you have to get into like crisis mode, like PR crisis mode and fix that.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, just being aware is the biggest thing.
Mhm. For me, and this is totally not a knock, but a good mentor of mine, Clark Campbell. Shout out to Clark. I love you, man. But when I was working for his company, I thought like social media was my life. I was like, man, I am like the king of this. I'm so good at it.
Yeah,
And I just remember like it felt like I was posting into a void most of the time. I was like, what's the point of this? No one's interacting with some of these accounts and
right.
I just wasn't enjoying it. I enjoyed like the content creating stuff. Like some
Sure.
of my favorite memories from, growing up, like or at least like in my college years, like making these sketches for these companies and these ads. They're some of my favorites still to this day. I was just like, just some of my friends, I would be like, hey, you want to act in an ad for me? And they'd say yes. And
Mm.
but it was like the posting part, just like typing everything out. I had to think so
Yeah.
thoughtfully. And I remember there were sometimes I would get people's names wrong or I would spell a business wrong. And Clark would be like, hey, man, don't do that. Like, you really can't do that. And sometimes those things like just slip my mind.
Yeah. I mean, like the caption stuff, the biggest thing for me that I ever learned was use Grammarly. If
Oh,
you're
yeah.
doing
I didn't have that at that time.
Yeah, if you're doing it from desktop, you want to like spell check that at least 30 times. And yeah, I mean, I've definitely made that mistake a handful of times. I think every brand manager has done that. So
Oh, absolutely. So, what are some other? Do you have any like funny stories of some big mistakes that you've made?
um, let's see. I made a few mistakes when I worked with John Taffer.
Oh no.
That was pretty bad. Just a couple like um, we would live tweet during Bar Rescue whenever it would come on, and it would be me and him in a room and watching the show live. And so
Hmm.
he's tweeting and I'm responding to people, and I would have to like ask him every question, and then sometimes he would be in the middle of something and I would have to respond like and just kind of make something up or make think I know what I'm talking about. There's been a couple of things that have gone out that he's like, you can't say that. Like I would never say that. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? So I don't know. He was very hard to deal with, but
Oh man.
I mean, everybody in social media makes some funny mistakes. Post the wrong
Hmm.
picture, post the wrong link. I've never done anything too bad that would be career ending. So
I gotcha. What are some other what have been some of your favorite accounts to run for?
mm, my favorite account was actually working for my dad because that
Really?
was yeah. He ran for mayor of my hometown in 2018, I
Yeah, I
think.
remember that. That's cool.
So it was really cool to be able to use what I knew to his advantage because his competitors, his opponents, I should say, did not have the skills or have the team that he had with me.
Hmm.
And the best thing was he won. So had he not had me on his team, he wouldn't really have been out there. And I honestly don't think he would have won because he's not really well known in the community anyway.
Hmm.
But now he's the mayor, so I think it really helped, and that's been one of my favorite things to do. John was also a really fun account because I got to do a lot of cool things, go to a lot of conventions, and meet people like Larry King and like Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars, and um, I went to New York with him and was on. I wasn't on, but I was with him when he was on like Sirius XM with the Barstool Sports guys or Jenny McCarthy and people like that. So just some really cool experiences.
That's awesome. And what was that day like whenever your dad won for mayor? I bet that was a really just incredible day.
Yeah, it was really cool. Luckily, I was home and got to be around with him and the family when he won. So it was just it was kind of like it was interesting because it was like this doesn't really feel like he just won mayor. It's just like he won an award or something. But now it's like he runs the town. That's cool.
That's
So
so cool, dude. And I bet it was even better that it was your dad and you could celebrate it as father and son.
yeah, it was really cool.
That's dope, man. So, what's been your favorite place that you've lived, that you've worked?
I mean, so far Vegas because there was just a lot to do out there. I haven't been out here in LA long enough to really have experienced anything. So we've all been on lockdown.
Hmm.
Uh, but it's cool. I got to travel to a lot of cool people. Um, I built a huge like music community out there, and had a really cool show, Vegas Live Sessions, and it got picked up by Tony Hsieh, who's the CEO of Zappos, and
Oh, that's
he
nice.
threw money at this event, and we got to have some really, really cool people come out, and we had like Dan Reynolds from Imagine Dragons. We had Brendan Urie was there a couple times because he's a Vegas
Brendan, my
guy.
boy.
So yeah, it was cool.
He's not really my boy. I'm a big fan.
Well, it'd be cool if you go, you know.
That's awesome. So, would you ever want to move back to Vegas, or do you think you found your home here?
I
Or
think
not
LA.
here?
Yeah, LA is. I mean, again, I haven't been here long enough to really know what it's like to live here, but I've enjoyed the 2 weeks that I've been here.
Nice.
So I would like to call this home. So
That's cool. Alex fam, I see you in the chat. What's up, man?
I can't see the chat, but hi.
Oh yeah, are you on your phone?
No, I'm on my desktop, but
Oh, can you not see the comments on the right side?
let me see if I can see the
You
live.
should be able to.
There we go. Cool.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, man, what have you been doing since all? I feel like I ask this on every episode, and I probably will until it's over. But what have you been doing to like stay sane during quarantine?
Well, quarantine started when we were in Nashville, and we all got laid off from our job at this bar called Pinewood. I went straight to work at Kroger doing the overnight stocking just because I needed the money.
Mhm.
So I guess that's kind of what I've been doing. And then after moving out here, I took it easy for like a week, and then I started doing Postmates. So that's been pretty good. There were some times where I really wasn't just doing anything, and I was getting bored and restless. So getting out and actually doing something has been really good on mental health and just keeping myself busy. So
Yeah, I've seen you begin it. You've been creating, and seems like you've been hustling.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say creating too much. I shot a video with my friend Gabby when I was in Nashville before I left, and haven't really been doing much in way of just creating content too much. But I want to get it back into that. So
Nice. And what is some things that do you have anything planned for the future that you want to make?
yeah, I mean, not right off the top of my head, but we're actually working on a clothing brand, the four of us.
Called Rad.
Yeah, so that's a big thing. I can't give too many details on that yet because we don't have everything ready. But I can tell you it's coming in the very, very distant future. So,
Can you tell us like the style that you're going for?
streetwear.
Streetwear.
Retro for the first drop. I don't know. What can I say, Corey? I'm trying to get the approval here. Yeah, streetwear, vintage, just t-shirts, maybe some hoodies. So
And y'all know how much I love retro stuff. I mean, look at the border.
yeah, no, you're a big retro guy here.
Yeah.
So,
What made you guys want to take the retro route instead of going with some other style?
well, we had a few concepts in mind, but then we came across like the old Nintendo style where it's got like that very bright orangey red style, and we really like that. And our roommate John is a graphic designer, and he put it together, and it looks really good. So yeah, I mean you can go follow it. It's Radwear LA on Instagram and Twitter. So we haven't posted anything yet, but you can see what the logo looks like. No concepts of what the hoodies are going to look like yet, but not publicly anyway. So
Nice. And you've had quite a bit of business ventures like this before, like Gratitude. Are you still doing Gratitude?
no. Funny story on Gratitude. I actually ended up selling all the rights to my friend Jesse, and
Hmm.
he hasn't really done much with it, but I know he's got a lot on his plate. So if he wants to ramp that back up, that's cool. But it was fun while it lasted. I really liked the message behind it.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so that was it was cool because when I dropped the hoodie, it sold out in an hour, and we sold over 100 units. So
It's amazing.
yeah, it was really cool.
If I tweeted anything like, "Hey, buy this hoodie," I think 5 people might buy it, and 3 of them would be my mom.
So
Shows how much reach Kyle has. But
yeah,
so with all the other business ventures that you've had, like, I wouldn't say they like failed. It seems like maybe you weren't interested. You like kind of lost interest. And what has been like your journey with doing stuff like that?
well, my first business ever was I started my own social media agency, and that ran for about 2 years. Uh,
Mm.
and so John Towner actually ended up being our first client, and then we got into a lot of downtown Vegas properties that we were working with, and that went really well. We were making really good money. My friend Kyle DeMarco, who was also on Fling, he was my business partner, and he was in San Diego. I was in Vegas at the time, and I think we kind of stopped doing that because we were just getting really worn thin on the amount of people we were working with.
Mhm.
So it didn't necessarily die out as a burnout. It was just we couldn't keep up, and we couldn't hire people to help us. So we decided, we had a good run. We decided to shelve it. Gratitude. I felt like Jesse might have been able to do it a little bit better than I could because he's better versed in business than I am in terms of like accounting and all that stuff. And so I just handed it off to him, and he brought the idea of, hey, let me buy the brand from you and I'll run it. So I was like, you know what? That's one less thing on my plate. So have it, take it, go. But I do have a habit of moving on pretty quickly from thing to thing. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I just get new ideas and I want to try different things. So that's kind of why I bounce around.
Yeah. I think a lot of people might look at that as failure, but I think it's just you trying to find out the right thing.
Yeah,
I don't think it's you being like, screw this or whatever. I think it like, cause I've done the same thing in some ways where I start on one project and I'm like, I'm not passionate about this. I'm moving on.
yeah. No, I mean, I don't think it's failure either. I think it's just you learn from what. I mean, if it is a failure, you learn from what went wrong and you do it better the next time.
Mhm.
So, I mean, what everybody preaches that. So it's
Absolutely.
I learn from everything that I do, and I learned from gratitude, and now I know how to properly run Radware with these guys. So I think it just makes you better if you fail.
Yeah, totally. So we got a question here from my friend Alex. He said, I guess I'll go ahead and ask, how do you deal with using social media as a self-marketing move? I feel like I share this feeling with some others that we can't stand quote unquote promoting and call it fake. Feels egotistic, etc. I've I've sort of dealt with it by saying as an actor, this is a necessary part of my job. Any advice?
Yeah, I know a lot of people who feel that way. And a good example, my old roommate, Evan, was a musician and he dealt with this. He didn't want to promote himself. And I think it's a tool that you just need to use. I mean, it's a free tool. Why not use it instead of hiring a PR specialist or a marketing firm to do it for you? It's monotonous. It's very time consuming. But if you put in the effort, um, you know, my account only grew because I put in 10 years on Twitter to get where I am now.
Mhm.
And I got to where I am now like 4 years ago. So it took me a long time to build that up, but I was consistent. Um, I wasn't scared to self promote because that's what you have to do to get in front of people. There's a ton of people trying to do the same thing, so you just have to put yourself out there. It's really
Totally.
important.
So we got another question. At what point should you let a brand die and move on?
When you stop loving it, I think, is a good time to just let it go. If it becomes a chore to you, then obviously you aren't that invested.
Mm.
Like gratitude really became a chore to me. The agency was a chore. I think if you don't absolutely love it, you shouldn't even start.
Mm. And I'd like to add something to that. There are going to be days when you're doing what you love and you're going to hate it. And
Sure.
that's okay, I think. There's some days I hate doing this show. There's some, like, I was exhausted today. I almost told Kyle again, I was like, hey, I don't want to do this. But you know what? I love this show and I want to see where it goes in like a year from now. So that's why I want to do it. And Kyle, this is totally not on you. That was on me.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
but yeah, like even with filmmaking, like there have been projects I've been like, I love this. I love every second of it. And there have been some projects where I love it, and then there's a couple beats where I'm like, I want to kill myself. I don't want to do this.
sure. Yeah, I mean, I took on clients that I absolutely despised, and they
Mm,
were so boring. Um, but I still got to do the job that I wanted and make money.
mm,
So there are going to be days where it absolutely sucks, but you can still love it. It's
mm.
gonna even like getting into like acting. I'm sure that I'm gonna get rejected a million times and it's gonna suck. But if I keep pursuing it, if I really love this, like I say I do, I'm gonna keep going through with it.
Mm.
So that's the same thing.
Yeah, totally. And I think what's important is ask yourself whatever you are doing at your core, do you love it? Because if you can't say yes and you're just like, I can't see myself doing this 5 years from now, then totally like just
Right.
throw that away.
Yeah.
Um, f- Another example I can think of, I worked at UPS for 6 years. I hated it every single day. I had a couple of good days, but I made really good money. But I wouldn't have been able to move here to Atlanta if I didn't work there for 6 years. And I
Yeah.
worked an IT job that I made even more money with for over a year. I made incredible money and I was saving money, even more money because I was living with my parents.
Right.
But I was miserable, so I had to move here. So I think it's okay to, as Gary Vee says, eat shit and then eat caviar for the rest of your life.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I worked at this bar for almost months, and despised. I had always despised the thought of working in the service industry. But when
Mm,
I took the job, I was like, I need the money. This is going to be good because I can still support everything else that I want to do. I can create. I can pay my rent. I can pay all my bills, and it's only temporary. So if you see it that way as a temporary move for things like that, then you'll be fine.
yeah, totally. And I remember the people that I just could not respect whenever I worked at UPS, and it was very hard work. I worked in the warehouse. I wasn't a driver, and I pretty much sweat every single day. As my mom told me sometimes, it looked like I jumped in a pool every night with how much I sweated. Like my clothes were disgusting every single night. I hated it. But I was like, you know what? This money is pretty dope, and I'm getting really good health insurance.
There you go.
And but dude, like there would be people that would come in and they would work. I remember the shortest time this guy worked. He worked for 15 minutes, and then he came out and said, "This is too hard." And I was like, "Dude, I have zero respect for you. I don't care who you are. Like
Yeah,
if you are able to do that job and you like pass all the health requirements, you're young, your your knees are okay, then there's no reason you should be able to continue this job." And I'm
yeah,
sure that's the same thing for you. Like I I can't think of anything you didn't at least try for a week that you've told me about.
yeah. I mean, at the beginning of all of this, I worked at Starbucks, and I was a barista while I was on Vine.
Mm,
And then because of Vine, I was able to sneak my way into social media somehow. I don't really know how I did it. I mean, I guess I do.
I remember your Starbucks days. I remember you ranted about the secret menu one time and it made me laugh. I was like, I knew that wasn't real. I never tried it.
I actually had a pretty popular Starbucks like secret barista account on Twitter, and I would tweet all the things that happened during the day, and it was just really funny. I made some good content off of that.
What's the weirdest thing you saw while you were at Starbucks?
People coming in and asking for blended ice because they didn't want to pay for a drink. They would ask for like blended ice, and then they would want sugar and like caramel in it. So that was pretty
I didn't
weird.
know that was a thing to do.
Neither did I. And then, I mean, it's not super weird, but I didn't really know Starbucks gave out what they call puppuccinos for dogs. It's just a cup of whipped cream. So I was like, that's cool. So they gave out a lot of those.
I remember Starbucks was like the place to hang out for all the college students in my area. And it was always like so chill, like every time, like nobody was ever just like talking. It was usually people working.
Yeah. Yeah, you go in there and just post up, use the free Wi-Fi, get some coffee.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's a problem for Starbucks business. Like, what if there's more people, getting in there using their Wi-Fi instead of, actually buying drinks?
Well, at my store, if you didn't buy anything, we would kind of watch you for a minute, and then if there were more customers, we would have to like actually go up. We'd get a manager go up to you, and they would actually ask people to leave. I mean, I don't know if that's what Starbucks is supposed to do, but our store did it.
I've never seen that happen, but I think that's a good policy because kind of being a douche if you're not reading the room and like, oh, maybe I should get up and leave so these people can actually sit down and drink.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're going to go somewhere, you should at least buy something.
Mm. But like, working in the service industry, I bet it built character for you at least. Like, I bet it humbled you and kind of prepared you for the outside world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, working at Pinewood was a lot, very humbling actually, because I was a bar back. So I wasn't bartending, but I was helping the bartenders, keep the bar alive. And it was a lot of, I would just call it grunt work. A lot of cleaning, a lot of moving around, lifting things, washing glassware. Not very customer facing, but yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing was that was a job that I just never wanted to do. I never wanted to work in that industry. So sure, it was humbling going from making a ton of money doing what I wanted to do to working in this industry that I just didn't have a love for at all.
Yeah, totally. And I'm not trying to rub this in your face, but like, I do kind of miss the grunt work because like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it was kind of nice. I would never go back to it, but it was kind of nice to just turn my brain off and just work.
Mm-hmm.
But now like I edit for a living for DDP yoga, and it's pretty much all mental, like it's all like brain power and finger movement. But it's like sometimes that's more exhausting than the grunt work that I did, and I would go home sweating.
No, I mean, it was definitely a good experience because it really helped me realize that I do have a good work ethic, and it helped me show and prove that I have a good work ethic. I lost a lot of weight doing all of that, just running around and lifting things. And
Forgot to say that on the stream, dude. You're looking good now, dude. Been working out, eating well.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep up on my health. We've all been trying to stay healthy and fit. We have all this time, and I don't know, it's a good idea to keep up and just keep yourself healthy. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say I'm trying to be healthy. I try to be generally, but like today I had Taco Bell.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could have Taco Bell. I'm trying really hard not to go order In-N-Out and order a burger with 2 fat buns on it. So.
I'm not at that level. I try to like keep it minimum. Like I just had like 2 burritos, and that is not. I try to not fill myself up. That's usually my goal with my diet.
Taco Bell's a great diet. Okay.
Totally. Yeah, 2 burritos, Baja Blast, you're good to go. So But yeah, dude, like I've always appreciated your work ethic, and anytime I've ever had like a social media question, I've always like texted Kyle like, "Hey man, like what should I do here?" And he usually gives me pretty good advice. I hope I haven't annoyed you with that.
No, not at all. I love it when people come to me with that stuff. So
Yeah.
it's fun to feel like the expert, even though I wouldn't say I'm an expert. But
Oh, come on. You're totally an expert.
I've been doing it for a while. So
I think
I,
that constitutes as an expert, one that's very knowledgeable in the area and has a lot of experience.
what is it? 10,000 hours makes you an
You think
expert?
you've put that amount in?
Sure, yeah. 7 years? Yeah.
Then you're an expert. There you go.
Yeah, I guess.
Like I've thought about that too, like with my stuff. Like I wonder how many hours I put into filmmaking and editing. Like it's gotta be 10,000 hours. Surely I'm an expert now.
Yeah,
Like I can go out and be Spielberg if I wanted to right now, right?
go.
Totally go for it. I should move to LA.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Atlanta's cool too. Come
No,
out
dude, I'm not.
here. Come out here.
I'm quite happy where I am. I think I don't see myself moving anytime soon.
Yeah.
And I remember we talked about this a while back, but like, Atlanta's a huge hub for filmmaking and like acting right now. What made you choose LA over Atlanta?
Um, LA has a lot of these social media stuff out here,
Mm,
so it's got everything that I want. Just being close to the beach is really nice, and then also the film industry out here, my management collabs out here. Nice to be around all of that. I considered Atlanta before I moved to Nashville. I know we had talked about that,
mm,
and but just always wanting to come out here is really what solidified that.
yeah. What advice would you give people that want to move to LA? Because, I've met so many people that are like, man, if I could just move to LA, like it seems like a lot of people think that's a quick fix it for their problems. Like, they're in the hub, they don't really see the work that's ahead.
Um, I would say research a lot. I mean, we moved into an Airbnb. We've been in this place for we rented it for 6 weeks, and I've only been here for two, and we move out on the 31st. Um, my biggest thing was make sure you have enough money to at least last you a month or two. I didn't come out here with a ton of money, but doing Postmates has helped kind of save my rear end on that. So yeah, just have some money, know where you're going to go, have a plan. If it fails in a week, 2 weeks, yeah, you just got to be prepared for that. Um,
There's nothing wrong with trying.
yeah, absolutely not. Like, if you want to come out here, you just know what you're getting yourself into. It's expensive out here. Gas is
Oh
expensive,
yeah.
food is expensive. So you just gotta, yeah, that's what I would say is be prepared.
Hmm. And some of like people have asked me for advice for like moving to a big city like Atlanta, and I would say that I'm blessed because I'm in a really good situation.
Mhm.
One, I still have a job, and two, I live with five roommates, so my rent is very low. My cost of living is not high at all. But the advice that I give people financially, and I'm not a financial advisor, disclaimer, but just don't be dumb. If you're moving to LA with $3 in your pocket, sure, that'll make a great story if you become, rich and famous. Like people can be like, wow, like dude, he was a hustler with $3.
Yeah,
But be realistic with yourself. Could you survive with $3 in your pocket?
yeah. What are you gonna do when you get out of here? I mean, I guess you could, if you have friends, you can couch surf, but you can only do that for so long.
Yeah, totally.
And I would say, don't move during a pandemic.
Yeah. So bold choice from you.
But probably not the wisest move. But
Yeah, absolutely.
but we did.
Um,
You can't really know when that's going to happen. So
right. And I think another thing I would give is this is advice from Dave Ramsey. If you've not read his book or listened to his podcast, highly recommend it. If you can get past the he talks a lot about Christianity and religion, and which personally I am, but he gives great financial advice. Something that he says is always have at least 3 months worth of rent always ready for it. Like if you don't have that, then you need to keep saving.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of places like see at least 3 times, 2 or 3 times the rent anyway. So
Mm.
yeah,
For me, I tried to have that and more whenever I moved here because I was like, what if I don't get work for like 5 months? And I got some like little stuff here and there, but I didn't get like an official job until a year later almost.
yeah. Well, I mean, luckily, like if you're moving out here with a car and it works,
Hmm.
you know, I've been searching for a job for even before I left and haven't found anything yet. So I've been lucky enough to be able to use. I've been lucky enough to be able to use Postmates and make a decent income. And I'm
How is
using it.
Postmates going? Is that fun?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I was driving in the hills all day today and saw all these crazy houses, and I was like, I'm gonna live there one day. So
What's it like
know,
living, or what's it like just driving through the hills? Because I've never even been to the West Coast.
well, the driving up like in the Hollywood Hills, the roads suck, but the houses are really nice. I was just amazed by the amount of money that's up there. Uh, the houses are ginormous. The cars are what I was driving by, and to my right there was a brand new like McLaren, and then over here is a white just stormtroopered out Rolls Royce. And
Gee,
I'm not even joking. It's really, really, really like it's humbling, and two, it's like I want that, so I'm going to work really, really hard. So it's a good motivation to have that above you while you're down here in the valley. I think it's pretty cool.
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And to talk about motivation really quick, like what do you find that motivates you? Because I feel like it's different for everybody because some people get motivated just looking at one of those motivational posters. Some people need like a kick in the
Yeah.
rear end. So are you one of those guys that's easily motivated to do things, or do you need somebody to like kick you?
I mean, there's some days where I have no motivation at all, but
Mhm.
um, I think a lot of my motivation just comes from knowing what I want and knowing I can get it because I've been able to achieve goals before and very big goals. Um, and that just kind of keeps me going. People in general, like a lot of my friends, you, my roommates, my girlfriend, like everybody just keeps me very grounded and very motivated and on track. I think keeping yourself on track and aware of what you want is what keeps you
Mhm.
going.
Who you surround yourself with is very important.
Yeah, very. I learned that the hard way in Las Vegas. I had a very, very big circle, and it got really out of control. So now, like, my circle is my roommates, my girlfriend, and my family, and very, very few acquaintances. So,
Mhm. And I've seen you tweet a couple times like you've cut out toxic people in your life. Do you think your life has been better since you've done that?
absolutely.
Mhm.
Because when you're able to remove people who just bleed you dry with their negativity and just constant complaining, you feel so much happier. And it doesn't mean that you can't be their friend and still, be there if they really, really need you. Um, but it's a very good thing to distance yourself from that if you're trying to, make yourself better and obtain a goal.
Absolutely. And I've done that too. I don't think I've ever said like directly to someone, "Hey, I'm cutting you out of my life. You're done."
Yeah,
But, there I used to hang out with people that just had no ambition, and I'm just not a person that's like that. Like I grew up in a very small hometown, and some of the biggest goals people would have is, I want to work in a really nice factory, get great benefits, and have
yeah,
a wife, a dog, and a kid, and live in a nice suburban neighborhood. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. But
sure.
that's just not who I am. I'm an adventurous spirit. I want to see what the world has to offer. So, hanging out with friends that, just want to go to their job and come back home and, smoke weed all day. That's just not who I am.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing. Sorry, my roommate's turn.
You're good.
Yeah. Yeah, the biggest thing for being a creative is having other creatives around you and people who are going to inspire you and help your creativity flow. If you're like, the reason I got out of my hometown was because it was so boring. Everybody wanted that 9 to 5, or they wanted to be doctors and this and that, and that's great. If if that's what you want to do, go for it. Like,
Yeah, totally.
But my dreams and my goals are a lot different and require a lot of discomfort, and a lot of people don't like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember telling people what I wanted to do. Like, hey, what do you want to do, Trevor? I want to, just film things with my friends and just make art. And they'd be like, that's nice, but how are you going to pay for it? And it's just like, why do you have to do that?
Yeah. I mean, you can't expect everybody to get it. So.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like, people in my hometown, that's just not their thing. And that's totally understandable. I still love everyone that, I've not kept in contact with very much. But, if you, not saying these people are garbage, like I love you if you think I'm talking about you, but if you hang around garbage, then you're going to be garbage,
Yeah.
And for me, I had to move in with 5 other people that have the same goals as I do. And it's really good because we all keep each other accountable. And even when we're not, hounding on each other, which we never do, it's just really cool to, if most of the time, if you go to any room in the house, somebody's working.
Yeah,
And
that's cool.
it's kind of like, if I feel like going in the living room and playing a video game and I kind of like turn around and my roommate James is just hard at work editing a video, it's just like, well, dang, I don't want to edit a video. Or,
Yeah.
well, dang, I don't want to play a video game. I want to go edit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, luckily, like, I have 2 other creatives, and one of our other roommate is, he's gonna try and go to school for like aviation and stuff. So the 3 of us at least have similar goals, but we're also all working on Radware, which is cool.
Rad.
Yeah, rad. It's so rad. We're so motivated, and it's a good time. But it's really important.
Totally. And what else have you been doing? What are some like cool things you've done since you've moved to LA?
I haven't really done anything super cool here. I've just really just been kind of hanging around the house. We've been looking for houses. We've been keeping up with the dogs here, just doing Postmates. I guess the best thing is just driving around and getting to see the city. I mean, we're literally across from the studio that James Corden shoots the Late Late Show at, so that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Paramount Pictures. I like seeing where all the studios are, so I drove past Paramount the other day, and it's a mile and a half down the road. So yeah, I mean, really haven't been up to much. It's not super exciting out here yet. So
how is LA culture different than, Nashville or Atlanta?
I honestly can't say yet because I haven't really had a chance to hang out with many people around here. I'd say the biggest thing is, I mean, it's not that much different than Nashville really, but hiking. Everybody loves to go on hikes here. You've got the mountains over at like Runyon and Griffith Observatory. Everybody here is either someone or trying to be someone, which is really cool.
That's really cool.
So there's a lot of ego here, I'm sure. I haven't really run into a whole lot of that yet, again, because I haven't been out. But if you're somebody famous, then everybody else is famous too. Like that's what's weird about it. That's what's also really cool. So everybody is like
really cool. Something that kind of keeps me from, and this is not something I would ever want to do anytime soon, but like from moving to a place like LA, because I've had a lot of people ask me like, if you're wanting to be a filmmaker, you should move to LA. And I'm like, well, Atlanta's pretty dope too. But I also like the fact that, you know, Atlanta's very progressive and very far left, generally speaking, and but it also has that southern aspect that I like here,
Yeah,
and I think that's what I can't let go is because I grew up in a very southern hometown, and sure, it's got some like pros and cons to it, but generally, I'm just like I just love the feeling of the comfort of southern, just
yeah.
culture.
I mean, that's the one of the reasons I moved to Nashville in the first place.
Hmm.
Like, I had no intentions of actually moving out here this soon. Um, I was going to stay in Nashville for a year, maybe longer. Um, but it was I grew up in Arkansas, so I'm a Southern boy.
Hmm.
So moving to Nashville was next biggest city and still close enough to home and still felt like home. It still had all the Southern food, all the Southern hospitality that I wanted. And um, out here, it's a lot different because I mean it's very just it's West Coast. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like very everybody's doing something.
Hmm.
Very fast paced.
I imagine it's a lot because I've been to New York before.
Mm-hmm.
Like one way I describe just Southern people in general is we are very slow with walking. Like it just seems like nobody's in a hurry to get anywhere. But in New York, everywhere I went, everybody's like just going. They're like, we got to get to our destination. We have no time to lollygag. Has it been like that with LA? Like when you've seen people walk?
There's a lot of people out running, walking. I mean, it's still shut down out here, but traffic is not as bad as it normally is out here. I mean, I haven't ever set traffic out here, and I know I'm going to when the world opens back up. But yeah, people are on a mission here for sure. But I feel like people are also very relaxed. Everybody's very, very chill out here. Everybody that I've
Mhm.
run into has been super nice. So it's
Kyle was telling me that he didn't know any celebrities. He's like, I should probably, because he didn't know that was Gilbert Godfrey behind him. He's like, man, if I'm gonna live here, I should probably know celebrities. That's the most random painting I've ever seen.
this house is full of random paintings. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. What are some celebrities that you know?
Celebrities that I
Who would
know.
you love to run into? That's a better question.
Jonah Hill. I would love to run
Jonah
into.
Hill? Is
Yeah.
he your favorite?
Or not my favorite, but it's cool. I'd love to see him out. Maybe I know it's very controversial, but I would love to run into Logan Paul. Um,
Hmm.
I
Interesting.
I admire Logan Paul. I think whatever he did, in what was it, 2017, 2018,
Hmm.
we, we can get past that. He's a very good business guy. He's very, very good at what he does on the internet. Um,
Hmm.
Pretty cool to him. Or one of my favorites, David Dobrik. I would love to deliver a Postmates order to David Dobrik.
I wonder if he would even say David Dobrik. He probably. I wonder if that would even. What I
Natalie,
wonder if they even put their names on Postmates.
yeah, I don't know. Natalie probably orders it. I don't know.
That's
So
funny. Who do you think is as far as like doing social media and just doing content creation? Who's someone that you're just like that guy is doing everything right or girl?
uh, Dobrik kills it. I think
Dobrik.
he's the best. Mr. Beast is doing really, really well. I love how he just gives and gives and gives. Who else? Um, I really love like Peter McKinnon. Um,
I love Peter McKinnon.
yeah, and I would like to see Casey Neistat put more stuff out too. I kind of miss his content.
Me too. I think he's just taking it easy and trying to be a dad. I
Yeah,
think that's really what his goal is right now, and to be a businessman.
yeah,
He's not trying. He's not, you know, 30-year-old, early 20s KC vlogging
yeah,
around New York City anymore, which I miss because those were such
yeah,
good days.
yeah. I think the majority of YouTube misses that.
Mm.
So
Dude, this was like my schedule when at like the peak of Nicetat's reign on YouTube. I would, go to college or I would go to school and do my thing. And then at lunchtime, because he was posting every day, I was like so excited to go to lunch every day because I would go to the cafeteria, get my meal, set up my phone, put my headphones in, and watch Casey Neistat. And those are
Yeah.
like such good memories. And I probably looked weird because I was like all by myself, just like munching and
Oh,
watching Casey Neistat.
who cares?
I didn't care. I was like, I'm happy. I'm watching the coolest guy on earth
Yeah.
film himself in the coolest city.
Yeah. Who else do one person I really, really want to run into, though, I would love to run into Andy Milonakis.
Man, I haven't thought about him in forever.
I did. Well, he was on. What was he
He's
on?
big on Vine.
Barstool recently, I think.
Really?
Something like that. Yeah, it was really recent. Yeah, I think it'd be really funny to run into him.
That's cool. Trying to think of who I would like to run into. I'd love to run into H3H3, the Ethan and Hila. I love their content. They seem like really sweet people to run into. And I don't know. I can't think of anything else. But dude, like, I'm just happy you're there. Like, I love that you're chasing your dreams in the city to chase your dreams.
Yeah, it's what everybody else is doing out here. So.
Yeah, and to talk about our history, I remember Kyle on Vine, and I just like messaged him, and like I don't even remember what I asked you, but then it like led it to us. We did like a collab on a Vine, and then we got into Fling heavily. I thought that was going to be the next big thing, and then it came crashing down.
I was kind of hoping it was because it had a lot of potential.
Oh, it did. And we were killing it on there. We were making good content.
I think it was one of the first platforms to actually allow people to go viral in a new way. Because that app, you sent out a photo or a video to random people all over the world. And a lot of people didn't know this, but a normal Fling user would go out to 50 people at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the super Flingers who would go out to thousands of people at a time. So there were times where I was getting hundreds of thousands of views on this app, and it was just random people all over the world, which is crazy. So
I remember one thing that I made that this was like the coolest I've ever felt like on the internet was I remember I made this one Fling, and I used to do this like stupid song every time I like pumped or I was like putting in gas. You probably remember this. I'll go pump and gas me. Pumping gas, man. Pumping gas because I'm the man. And I would do that like every single time on Snapchat. And I was like, I'll just do it on Fling. I did it on there. And I got like thousands and thousands of people like sending me flings, like doing the gas man thing. And like, my favorite was this like Indian guy who's like, I love you, gas man. And I was like, oh man, I have made it. I am international now.
That's funny.
And then, and Chris Melberger, I remember he tweeted me and screenshot the pump and gas man thing and just said sup.
That's cool.
I was like, hey, he knows me. I'm big now. I'm a big deal.
There you go.
What were some ones that you made that you remember?
I think the best one, the one that people really loved was when I would go out early in the morning and just scream at the top of my lungs, wake up. And people were dying over that. Yeah, that was really fun. I definitely annoyed my neighbors. But.
I bet. If I screamed in this neighborhood, I might get the cops called on me. I don't know how it was in your neighborhood.
Quiet until I started doing that.
And what's like the most viral thing that you've put out in your career?
When I was on Vine, I did this really stupid video about what it's like to live in Las Vegas. And I played like two characters. You know how people would swap the view and play two characters?
Yeah.
I was like, so you live in Las Vegas? I was like, yeah. They're like, what hotel do you live in? And it would just like zoom into my face. I was like, we live in hotels. And for some reason, it went so viral. Like I probably had well over 300,000 likes on it.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
And yeah, that was probably the biggest one I've ever done. And now, like, I'm not on famousbirthdays.com. That's like what they say my claim to fame is. It's like these popular vines about what it's like to live in Las Vegas. And I was like, they're not wrong.
Does it still say that?
I think so. Yeah.
Popular Viner talks about Las Vegas, living in LA.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I think the biggest thing I've ever put out was the Super Bowl last year, whenever everybody was, or it was whenever Maroon 5 was performing, and everybody was like petitioning for them to do the Bubble Bowl scene from SpongeBob, and they did it for like 3 seconds, and then it transitioned into a Travis Scott song. I immediately got so mad because I was looking forward to it. I pulled out my phone, and this is the only time where my knowledge of SpongeBob came in handy, because I pulled out my phone and I tweeted out a GIF of it was a dude from one of the episodes. He like leans over and he's like, "This is a load of barnacles." Yeah. And I tweeted that. I was like, me whenever Travis Scott came up after the Bubble Bowl scene, "This is a load of barnacles." I got like 20,000 likes or something like that, which isn't even that much. Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, huge viral tweet.
Go me. Guess how many followers I got from it? 0. Everybody was like, "Nice tweet. I hate your others."
It happens that way. Some people get like hundreds of thousands, and then they get maybe 50 new followers. I don't know.
I remember my friends were like, "Dude, plug in your YouTube channel. Hurry, hurry, hurry." So I like tweeted. I was like, "Oh, subscribe to my YouTube channel." And then nobody did. Nope. I got nothing from that. It was just a bunch of useless numbers.
It's what people care about, that one tweet. That's it.
That one tweet, man. Well, Kyle, like we're nearing the end of the show. I try to keep this around an hour. Is there anything else you want to tell the people?
I think I've kind of spoken about everything. Radware, if you want to follow that, it's at Radware LA on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to follow me, it's Kyle Harris on Instagram and Twitter. Not really up to a whole lot, but if you tweet me, I always tweet back. I love that interaction. Yeah, that's really it. So
yeah, everybody go follow Kyle. I guarantee this is a guy that you want to be following, because once he blows up, he ain't going to talk to you.
I don't know if that's true. I talk to everyone.
I'm just kidding. But Kyle, thank you so much for coming on the show. Hope you had a good time, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Sick. All right, everybody. Thank you, everybody in the chat section. And I hope all of you that were watching have a blessed day. See you later.
See you.